Here it comes.
And we're back.
What happened to the awkward hello? You're supposed to go, hello.
Right.
You're talking about the 5 week. I was just shocked by the 5 week thing. But anyway, so yes, it's been 5 weeks.
Obviously it's been 5 weeks since we launched. We've had numerous updates to the game, hot fixes, patches. We actually had a campfire chat in between. Where we talked about even a big update that was coming before season 1.
Page.
Yes, 13 page. Which people are like,
so did that update already come, or is it still coming?
And I'm like, maybe it was, but it still was very big. It was like 11 pages and went on the actual site.
Look at the chat.
We've addressed a lot of feedback.
Bob, nerves
related to the game. We still have more feedback that we're actually going to be addressing. And I will say that later this afternoon there is going to be another patch, Climb patch,
13 pages of Bob
spoilers,
nerves.
or announcement. We will have patch 104. That's going to be hitting all platforms later this afternoon. There will be
patch today.
Patch notes
Yes.
Posted this afternoon. Very much not as chonky as 103, but it does address additional feedback and issues that people have been reporting over
today, guys. Today.
In the actual patch notes.
Come on, put you on the spot.
Funny enough, did I actually have this printed out?
I don't think you can say that 1.04 is coming this afternoon and not give an example of something we're fixing.
13 pages, guys.
I know that they are actually doing a gameplay fix in regards to, or a gameplay adjustment to Helltide chests, so that Helltide chests will now actually drop unique items.
Yeah, have the chance to drop unique items, but yes.
Sorry.
They will drop unique items
Not
for
like a
sure.
guarantee.
So there's a chance.
Now that's quoted, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
but,
There's a chance to get Shaco, guys.
Okay, that sounds
So you're
stupid for
telling
me
me
as
there's a
user.
chance.
I thought they already could drop uniques with Helltide chests, so I was mistaken.
It wasn't there one of the grandfathers
so
claimed
there
to
are
have dropped
some
out of the
content
chest?
types that the rewards are not dropping like unique items from it. So like Whisper bounty caches, for example, don't have a chance to drop unique items when you turn in for those.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, but I think that there's opportunities for us to continue to try to expose this more as we talk about these things moving
So are they
forward.
going to fix that?
But this is an opportunity now. We want to make sure that when players are trying to target farm for certain kinds of uniques for their builds, they need to grab in order to bring those things online.
Target
that
farm
those
your
Whisper caches
Shaco.
really can be used as a way to or not Whisper caches, the tortured gifts you can get from the Helltides events. Those are really good opportunities to go and try to go for those.
And that's this afternoon. So once 104 goes out, once your uniques can drop in.
That's right.
Chest.
That's right. That's this afternoon.
Yep, and
Shaco's this afternoon, guys, in Helltide.
I'll
see you there.
Times already.
One in a million, one in 100
a lot
million.
A lot of feedback related to bugs, issues, or even just like general gameplay feedback, and it's something that the team has been reading through and getting through, and those are things that obviously we're addressing as we get through all these different updates in the future and everything.
We're building a big backlog. Like this is the thing I was making a joke about. They started before, like seasons started before we launched, just to try to set expectations. Like we're moving as fast as we can, but we have to move also safely, because if we move too fast, we can kind of vibrate the game out of stability.
Well,
and
too
so
fast.
we're trying to be as reactive
The
as we
Bob
can,
got insta-nerfed.
but in a safe way, and knowing
What
we
about
have
the
a
other
lot of
classes?
backlog of season 1 was already well in flight, and
Too fast?
Season 2 is also very much well in flight. And so we're trying to make those adjustments.
I think it's good if they do fast
please
reactions.
don't take the lack of instantaneous responses and we don't hear you. We hear you. We hear about, I want to lock my inventory. We hear you about all the different types of things that you're giving us feedback on, and we appreciate that feedback, and we're doing our best to address it as quickly and as safely as possible. So, so just trying to manage expectations that sometimes it might feel, but again, it's only been 5 weeks.
13 pages.
This is a game that we are going
please.
to, we're going to support for years to come. This is a foundation of, we said the launch was the beginning, not the end, and so we're going to be continuing to support this game through many seasons and through expansions and what have you. And so,
Job secure.
Please just allow us some time to catch up and work through our backlog to get to those items that we know that you care about.
And I do want to note that we're, as we were in preseason, we were obviously shooting out a lot of updates really quickly, and this is something we talked about a little bit on the campfire chat, but we are going to get into a more systematic way of being able to update the game, so it's not just going to be like ad hoc, hey guys, what a new client patch type of thing, unless there's an emergency. But yeah, people start to find a more some familiarity with how we actually update the game around seasons and client patches that may occur, whether they are in between or only on seasons and so forth. So we'll have that actually communicated out and people then
Just
know
remove
what
the
to
main and
expect
slot on
going
Bob, and
forward,
then it's fine.
when we do have different
Depends,
updates or different patches that actually do
Yeah,
hit the game.
I think it's really important that we have
man.
now talked about things we did in the preseason.
Bob is fine
made a
with one
number
weapon,
of changes on the balance
Oh,
side. We've responded to a lot of player feedback. We've got 1.04 coming out later on this afternoon. But Adam, what do the people want to hear about?
Zombie!
Season 1.
Yeah, the season
we're
guys
actually
like,
now
what the
gonna
fuck are they
talk
talking
about
about?
But we do want to talk about season 1. Season 1 is coming, and we actually have a really cool trailer to show off before.
Oh, guys, another cinematic.
So-
Oh, they're on fire today.
Hit it, Rich and Matt.
Let's go, boys. Season 1 trailer, Diablo
I am
4.
writing to you because although a great evil is receding from Sanctuary, a new festering curse now spreads its corruption across the land. More dangerous, more malignant than I could have imagined. I have found a way to stop this plague. To rip the dark power of these monsters from their very core and turn it to our advantage in destroying them.
Wow. They literally ripped the heart out.
But I cannot do this alone. My allies
Bloody.
have fallen. My strength is dwindling.
Must help.
The malignant are relentless and without mercy. I need help. I need you.
Son of the Malignant. Season of the Malignant. Jesus. Pog. Man, that fits the style so well. Pog.
And there we have it. The first season
I
of
read
Diablo
Sun.
4 coming out on July 20th. The season of the Malignant. Lots to talk about there. Lots to talk about there. So we're actually going to jump into it. No, I'm just kidding.
Did it say the date?
But obviously,
20th?
a lot of people want to know what's going on. You know,
Let's
we
go.
even teased it on social media yesterday, where
It's in 2 weeks.
something was corrupting Sanctuary. I
Holy
guess
shit,
Tim,
guys.
Joe, like
Yeah, no, okay,
explain
so
to us
what's
what's
It's in
going
exactly
on.
2 weeks
So
from today.
season 1, the season of the Malignant. So our very, very first season in the game.
I was
is
1
gonna
day off.
basically
What can we do?
take place in after the events.
I
of
said
Diablo
plus minus
4.
1 day.
So after
1 week,
the
actually.
redacted and the redacted have happened, and the player has finished redacting the redacted. Once all that's out of the way, that's when things are really going to kick off in the world of
2
Sanctuary. Kind of
weeks,
step
guys,
off
that's
from that
like
point. And there is
few
a
days,
new
man.
threat that's basically emerged in Sanctuary. There's this malignance, there's this corruption that's begun to
Mm-hmm.
spread throughout like the hearts of the creatures throughout the world, and that's everything from like beasts to humans to demons themselves.
So all monsters.
Everything in between can be corrupted by this malignance as beginning to take root and fester inside the inside people. And it's basically kind of like it's
So it's kind of like
changing them.
zombies.
Right, it's turning into these bloodthirsty fiends. Effectively,
Zombies.
that's going out and trying to destroy everything. And it's threatening
Yeah, zombies.
Sanctuary at a very, very, very high level. The player's going to come across a new character that they're going to introduce to over the course of the season, named Cormond, who we actually saw in the trailer there. Cormond is, there he is.
They were not memeing with the zombies,
Cormond
guys.
is
It's
an
infecting them?
member of the Cathedral
Like
of
a
Light.
virus?
He used to be a priest of the Cathedral of Light. And he's taken it upon himself to start trying to dive deeper into this new malignant threat that's risen over the course of these days following the events of Diablo 4's main campaign. But he's finding himself maybe a little out of his depth. Would you say, Tim? Like, what do you think about Cormond?
Yeah, he's trying to fix the problem on his own, and then I
But
think
he
when he's
can't. He needs
not 100%
your help.
successful, he comes to the player and says, "Hey, you were really helpful in the past. Could I get a hand from you?" So that's kind of where things start.
Yeah, he's very. I think that you'll find like he's a person. Everything in the room is on fire, but he's sitting there like, "I can fix it. You know, we can find a way to solve this, right?" But he's a great new character that the player get introduced over the course of the season. But that's really just where things kick off. Now, and players will start the season of Malignant actually in Kyovashad. And they're going to gain access to like the beginning of the story of the season pretty much right away.
Yes.
You know, so you're able to
That's
start
what
out right
that's
at
what I
level
hope
1,
for.
like jumping out
You
of the
interact with
gate,
the season
but
theme
start, like, following
from the
thread
very
of this
start
new
of you
season
creating a
storyline.
character.
And we're going to
Big
talk about the
Sunflower, man, that's
transition
amazing.
from the current Eternal Realm into the season afterwards.
Okay,
We're going to
perfect.
get through the season information first.
Yeah.
Well, then when I know people are really curious about what happens to my current character, how do I think about that transition? But we'll get to that after we get through the season details.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So that's the kind of like the high level, like
That's really cool.
what's happening in the
That's
World
the
Sanctuary.
theme, right?
That's the theme.
We have a
yeah.
seasonal
Zombies.
theme with a seasonal story, but
Zombies, the
what about
corruption
mechanic?
of
There's usually-
infecting the demons.
On top of the theme, there's usually the seasonal mechanics. So what's the mechanics that we're looking at?
We're trying to add more stuff to seasons that appeal to everything that a player does in Diablo 4. So we are adding story, the elements of what you're going to find out about what is actually happening to Sanctuary, but then we want things that are new challenges for the player, things that you can fight that maybe you haven't fought before, as well as new powers, things that you can build your character in a different way, a different direction than maybe you did in any previous season, or in this case in the preseason when you had just the Eternal Realm. So hitting all of those notes, we're starting with a mechanic around the threat. So what is the threat? The Malignant. We've been talking about it a lot. Where does the Malignant actually show up? That actually shows up throughout the entire game.
Man, let's
when
go.
you're playing in the world of Sanctuary,
In 2
anytime
weeks,
you
guys, and
encounter
big patch
any
today.
elite monster, there's a chance that it will spawn as a malignant version of that monster. So that malignant version is going to have these growths on it and some additional power. After you kill it, a heart will actually appear, an exposed malignant heart that was causing this. If you then interact with that heart by using a Cage of Binding, it now starts a ritual where it's pulling all the malignants in and a new, even more powerful version of that elite.
Okay, that's really cool. Let's go.
Why would you want this? How does this help you? Well, if you can manage to beat that even more powerful version where you see these other minions are now helping it, these other malignant creatures, now it drops the caged heart. You've actually put all of that malignant power into this cage that is an item that you can use that is kind of like a gem. It's like a gem in the sense that you can socket it into gear. It is very much not like a gem in the sense that it has an enormous amount of power. Think of a legendary item, the kind of power that's in there. It's like that, maybe even a little bit more than that. So you can take these malignant hearts, you can socket them into your jewelry, and that gives you these kind of stupid new broken builds that are
that's what we want. Stupid, new, and broken.
Powerful.
This is intended.
Options of how you can play the game.
Yeah, so this is really, really cool, right?
So this is like legendary gems, similar to D3. You put them in your jewelry.
We want to make sure that we're providing new ways for players to engage with Diablo 4, new problems for them to solve, new ways for them to customize their characters and kind of do new cool stuff.
Right.
And that's what Malignant Hearts and the powers associated with Malignant Hearts really allow us to do. So one of these things, so yes, you can take a Malignant Heart that you've managed to collect from one of the Consumed that you managed to kill, one of these super malignant creatures
you can wear 3 of them.
You've killed this way, and you can socket them into your gear. We have over 32 new, I'm not going to say like over 30, we have 32 new malignant powers.
You know exactly how many powers.
Technically, it's 32. So we have 32 new malignant powers going out this way. These are new legendary power-like abilities. You can see this one here, critical strikes, electrically charged creatures.
See, they don't go in your armor pieces.
So there's a lot of
you can only have
things
3.
like this. That you'd be able to kind of like interact with over the course of time.
Strikes,
but each of the malignant hearts you're collecting are actually like a category. Cool. They're associated with a color. So if like brutal hearts, for example, or like have a blue color to them, and they'll only go in infested sockets you'll find on rings and jewelry during the season of the malignant of a matching color.
I see.
So when you're hunting for when you're finding new amulets and rings or gambling at the Opal's vendor, whatever it is you want to do, you're kind of looking for specific socket colors.
Or if you're getting a unique ring from the new Helltide chest rewards as you're playing from the one.
That's right. If you happen to luck out and get Mother's Embrace because you need another Mother's Embrace, then yes, you can absolutely.
One will never do. But what's interesting, so there's 3 different types of color sockets. Yes.
There's 3 different types of color sockets, but there's 4 different types.
Maybe
of
it does
hearts.
damage.
Go on.
I guess I will. So the last malignant heart type is called basically a Wrathful. It's an extremely powerful malignant heart type. They're very, very rare to find. They will fit in any colored socket as you go. And you kind of want a combination of all of these. So even though that the Wrathfuls are pretty strong, you're really only looking to probably have
only go into the
based on what you might actually need for your build, over the course of time. So it's fun, really want to be able to experiment with, again, creating these different problems for players to solve, different ways for players to engage with things, and really change up that experience by virtue of adding these new powers. They're going to unlock different builds potentially for classes, to Tim's point, and just basically be like a really fun, exciting new way for players to kind of inject new power into the experience.
But this is a massive power creep.
We're
going to get a lot stronger.
So can the jeweler, when the jeweler right now can add a socket to, a piece of jewelry, are they able to add colored sockets, or are those only
So you can't
found?
choose the color, but anytime a ring would roll with a socket when the Season of Malignance starts, it's always going to have a color associated with it. There's not like, you couldn't get like just a regular jewel socket.
But even a jeweler created one? Like if I have a ring with no socket, when I do the jeweler, it'll be colored?
It'll always be colored.
Yeah, so
it'll always be a
it
vested
doesn't match
socket
the
in this
color.
way. Yeah.
Man, it's gonna
but
be
that's super
hard to
unique. So
find
if I'm
these
looking for I have a unique ring, like you talked about, but I want the blue version. I could find a unique with the red socket, and I could find it with a yellow socket. So I'm looking for a blue.
Holy
So
shit.
you
might be
Okay, that's a
multiple
big
versions
item
of the
hunt
uniques
then.
as well, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big long,
So yeah,
long progression.
fun new stuff to look forward to, and that's just, I mean, we showed in the video earlier, like the player fighting a malignant creature. There's a chance for, as Tim pointed out, like there's a chance for all kinds of elites out there in the world to be malignant in nature, which makes them a little bit more powerful. But then when you kill them and you go and you actually use the Cage of Binding to capture their heart,
That's
then
really
you fight
cool.
that super consume, the consume version. It's like that's gonna be like buffing nearby monsters. It spawns a bigger combat in that scene.
Hulk, man.
There's
I want
more
that.
to look forward to, and those get tougher and tougher. And you
14
want to
days,
fight
2
higher
weeks.
and higher level versions of those and higher world tiers to get even better versions of those hearts.
Yeah, so you can get stronger versions of the hearts as you get further into
Oh,
the
yeah,
game. and
they
you
take
might be
stash
thinking, like,
space.
okay, does that mean like the old, like
Problem.
the crappy hearts that I got earlier? Are those useless? You can actually break those down at the crafter as well to get a crafting material out of them that allows you to craft new items, including invokers. So invokers are something that you can use a little bit
these
further
things
on. Once
all
you finish
take
the
stash space, guys.
campaign,
Every single one of them.
Season 1, you will unlock the ability to go and use these at a specific place called a malignant tunnel. So if you are
By the way,
trying to...
that's also the name of my colonoscopy.
Okay.
There we go. And
It's a serious thing when you're over 50.
this is
You should know
and
that.
this,
That's actually
and this
a good
is
point.
when
That
we
is a good point.
mute
So if you have a
my-
malignant tunnel, you should get yourself checked out.
So in the world of Sanctuary, when we say malignant tunnel, we mean, hey, I'm a player and I actually want to get more of these hearts, but it's just a random chance on elites out in the world. Where can I intentionally find more of them? There are these malignant tunnels. So there are actually places across the
To
world
target
where
from them. I
the
like that.
malignance is manifesting in these new dungeons. So if you specifically want to go find more malignant hearts, you can hunt down these tunnels.
Yep.
You can go
Let's
in
go.
and, hey, there are more malignant there. So there's a higher chance of finding malignant monsters there. And if you want to guarantee it, man, I really need a very specific type of malignant heart. How do I
hear what
make
he's
that
saying.
even more likely?
in-game
That's
sound
when
is
you
way too
take
low.
your crafted invoker, you go all the way to the end of a malignant tunnel.
Dude, they
and
always
you
have
use
Bob
it
in their
on
footage, you know
the
why?
malignant outgrowth.
Because
And
Bob is so OP.
outgrowth, it now spawns that specific
Always Bob's in their
malignant.
footage, man.
It's going to have the color associated with it of the heart you're trying to find. You kill that.
51
and you
crit to
get
Bob meets the
the
nerf.
specific heart. So there's a little bit more targeted farming you can do as you approach the end game of Season 1.
Actually, I have go to the C video. It will be able to show you the going into
Get a lot of the sound
an
of those
invoker
videos.
event where you can go in and sort of, which I've heard called the turkey baster from hell. Basically, is what an invoker looks like.
It does kind of, yes. I don't,
There's Bob again, man. There's our boy.
On it, but yeah, that's what
Big
we
two-ender.
So yeah, at the end of these malignant tunnels, you're going to find that there are these masses of malignants that you're going to be able to go and interact with, and each of the
That's the
tunnels
one we
has
wanna watch.
a few different ones that can potentially.
also gave
spawn
him XP when he
colors of
clicked
malignant outgrowths that can spawn from those. So it gives you those opportunities to go and like really target farm, as Tim's pointed
Endgame
out, like,
content
certain
only for
kinds
Bobs.
of malignant hearts as the player's progressing through the experience. Yeah.
So when we show, like we were just showing it,
Technical
show the one
issues.
you were just showing, because that was
Okay.
the invoker event. So basically, there's a growth. You get to the end of the tunnel. There's you're able to basically, essentially, you're requesting a monster of a particular color. Yes, you're saying like, I want a blue.
Oh,
heart.
so you can
A chance to get
choose
blue
which
heart
one to target
by trying
from.
to defeat the blue monster. Yes.
That's right.
So if you have a
These are, like,
blue
particularly
socket,
later
you
on
can
in
target
experience,
from the blue
the most
monsters.
powerful hearts you can get are delivered from things like these invoker encounters. Right. To go and interact.
Yeah, there's
with.
green
So,
and-
yeah,
oh, is
something
it
we're
green?
excited about.
So basically,
blue.
they use the
Green and blue.
invoker on the one of the pods.
That's right. Yeah, the outgrowths from this malignant mass.
Which
Yeah.
Man, that looks so cool. It like really fits the theme of Diablo 4.
Take that down. which
Dark,
will then-
grim, gore.
So does this one go through the same mechanic where I have to kill it, try to capture heart to kill the harder thing?
When this thing pops up, after you kill this one, you don't actually have to capture it. you're fighting the powerful version of it like immediately.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, so you don't have to do the one.
It also gives a ton of XP.
So that's nice. So it's kind of a little like the sigil crafting, where you basically
get these at like level 8.
Right now, I can craft it down so that I can focus what malignant hearts I want, because maybe
he's like level 8, man, and he does this mechanic.
But I haven't running into any blue malignants out there in the world. So now I can go into a
this is going to change leveling completely, man.
Have an opportunity to use the invoker to create.
Because do you want to get them early? Do you want to get them late?
That's right.
Do you want to blast to 100?
Called it out.
And I know.
That's all I'm here to do is summarize.
Is there going to be a PTR server for this?
I will take everything you said, summarize it into.
Hopefully we can get to that in the Q&A.
And I know, like
a
obviously
PTR
with
test
the
server
story
or
and so
something.
forth, there are like a new boss and so forth
Yeah, there's
associated
new,
with
but
it.
we're not really talking
We're
about
not
the boss too much today,
redacted, but yes.
It's worth calling out,
There's new boss monster for players to fight over the course of the season. There are new legendary items for players to collect this season.
Correct.
There's our legendary powers, I should say, for players to collect. There's new unique items for players to collect.
Now those new unique legendaries and the unique uniques. Thanks for that. Those are not just in the seasonal realm, though, right? Are those things that are also showing up in the eternal?
That's right. Those will also show up in the eternal realm. So
Exactly.
yeah, if you're a player who's like really trying to continue to progress your character in the eternal realm, there's now.
Okay, I'm summarizing it a little bit here, guys. Just bullet points.
This is the moment where I can do the producer thing.
New legendaries
So
and
you
new
probably saw
uniques.
before on the screen when we looked at the cinematic, it was awesome. And in the end, we said July 20th. Oh my God, there it is, the day it's coming out. We are actually putting out the patch a little bit earlier. So just for awareness, so everyone knows.
Earlier.
You're going to see your game patching on July 18th. That is all of the stuff coming
It's in
to
12
you.
days.
It is going to turn on July 20th.
Balance changes, the new items.
Yeah. So July 18th is actually anything that shows up on the Eternal Realm is there right away. If you just want to continue playing the game as normal on your existing characters or new Eternal
there's going to be a big balance patch. He said it.
July 18th, the new legendaries and uniques that they were just talking about will be available to you on the Eternal Realm.
Okay, so we can test.
Any other improvements, balance changes, rewards changes that we've made, those will be there right away on July 18th. July 20th, the season turns on. You can now create seasonal characters.
Okay, I get it.
Like,
That was a good
back to managing
explanation.
Expectations. I think one of the things we've been trying to be really clear about with seasons is that
Guys,
it
that's
is
in
not a
like-
continuation of the main campaign storyline. Like,
It's in
we've been
like
using-
12 days, yes?
Trying to use phrases
Patch
like
day,
that. It's a new
season
quest
start.
line. Working
Patch day,
with Corman
season
to solve the malignant is a big, is obviously the journey you're on, but it's not about the Anarius Lilith journey. It's not extending that story. It's sort of a side story inside
It's
the
going to
other
be
world.
big.
Is
Yeah,
that
it just
fair?
takes place after the events of Diablo 4. But you're absolutely right. This is a new self-contained story within the season of the Malignant, which is great because it just gives us it affords us a lot of opportunities to tell an exciting story and to create like these new big features that kind of go along with that and support it.
So as I'm playing through that now, it would be amazing if there was some way to sort of track my accomplishments through the season. I don't know, maybe some sort of journey perhaps
you
would
want
be
to track
really...
you want to track your seasonal journey. This is
Journey?
feature.
Is that, I don't know if I could tee that up any higher for you. We went from golf to
Yeah, went from golf to t-ball really fast. Yeah. No, absolutely. So this is obviously with season 1 where we're going to bring out the season journey feature, which I know we talked a little bit about on stream before, but I guess it's worth maybe calling out and maybe a little bit more clarity.
Hey, look, it's this, but without redacted all over it now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, holy shit, this is
no
the...
top secret.
Yeah, so this is the battle pass we're introducing as part of season 1, and then
There's XP
going
buffs
into
in
here
here.
you'll see the season journey, and again, so the season journey is separated into 7 chapters. And like these major chapters, and each of those chapters has a number of objectives inside
Similar to
each of them
D3?
in order to allow you to progress that chapter.
And you don't have to do all of them?
You don't have to do all of them. You have to do a subset of them in order to advance to the next chapter.
Okay, so there's like 10 objectives if you do
I think
8 of
it's
them.
really cool. So like objective to objective, you're going to be earning favor drops, which can be used to fuel your battle pass, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. Yeah. But you're also, for your chapter completion moments, you're getting big drops of that favor that's going to be used like an experience point value for your battle pass. But you're also going to be getting some like item rewards, and importantly, you're going to be unlocking new legendary aspects, ones that you can't normally get through the Codex of Power, through like dungeon completion.
Holy shit.
And also many of our new legendary aspects we're adding in the season. If you're playing in the seasonal realm, you can collect that for your Codex of Power by going to the season journey. So it's a great way for you to introduce yourself to some of these new things as you're kind of playing through.
Yeah, I
legendary
love
powers.
this. Like one of the things that's hard about, for people who know Diablo 3 and its sort of journey.
Hold on, wait. Do you love this?
I love this.
Oh, that actually feels really good to hear.
I love this.
Let's go. We like it, man.
Around, like I like the fact that the subset aspect of it, because I know there are certain things.
So how's the
I'll pick a
battle
stupid
pass
example.
boost
Like
gonna
maybe
work
I
then?
hate sellers for some reason. I'm a seller hater, and so I never want to complete a seller. Then the fact that I can advance chapter 1 to go to chapter 2 without ever doing what lurks below, I think that's great, because that's like I find you get into
these are
situations.
like easy objectives.
I have
Collect
other
the
games where they're like,
whispering
you must do this thing that you really don't want to do in order to progress, and the fact that I don't
That's
have
cool.
to do that here, that I can
You do like
choose a
80%
subset of
and then
things
you
to
progress.
continue my progress, I think is really smart.
Yeah, I think it's really good to hear. It's one of the things we really want to do is make sure that like the base example of this is like we really like letting players use our fields of hatred as opportunities to kind of like progress their characters instead of the season, but we don't, and we want to include that
Which
in
is
the
the
season
PvP
journey,
fields, yeah.
which is the PvP.
Yeah, but you
content
don't
in the
have to
game.
do PvP.
But we don't want to make that like a requirement that you must go do
that's
this
amazing.
content in order to progress your season journey. We want to give players the
So there is
option to do this if they
PvP
choose.
objectives,
So
but you can
I
just
do
choose
wanna
to do
call
other
out here as
objectives.
well, with the season journey, and I think you're going to call it out in some other places, is that it can be confusing to players initially that you go to this battle pass screen, you click on the season journey button. Do I have to buy the battle pass to get this? No. Everyone has access to the season journey. This is a base feature that everybody is engaging with. Actually, everybody has access to the battle pass too. You're engaging with, even if you never pay a cent, you are engaging with the battle pass. You're getting
In
free
the
stuff.
seasonal realm.
In the seasonal realm.
Yes, in the
Ron
seasonal
has always reminded me to say, like, in the seasonal realm, this stuff exists. There is no season
So
journey.
everybody
if you're not
has
in
a
the
battle
season. That's
pass.
very important. It only exists there. There's no battle pass if you're not in the season.
So what did you get then for
That's
buying the
absolutely
battle
correct.
pass?
So yeah, that's the essentially the way the season journey works. Those final objectives, those final chapters,
an
are
extra
really tough to
acceleration.
complete. You can get some like special like cosmetics,
Oh, that's big.
special like title and things towards the end of that path. So we're excited to see players like engage with it and for us to continue to support it in future seasons.
And so we saw that the season journey grants you a lot of favor to go towards your battle pass, but you also earn favor just out in the world killing stuff. And
That's right. And
I mean, we'll see
like
about that.
killing monsters, completing like whispers and dungeons and things like all of these things will be earning you favor as you kind of play through the season.
Right.
So anything that's getting you experience.
We're going to get a
points
patch
gives you,
today,
that favor
guys.
as well.
There's going to be a
if you-
patch on
if
Diablo
you have never
4
played
today.
the campaign yet, like you're about to buy the game for the first time with the season, for example.
Right.
I'll be like, okay, I'm going to roll a seasonal character. I'm going to play the campaign. The fact that while I'm playing the campaign, I'm killing stuff, and I'm still earning favor. Like this stuff is still sort of progressing in the background, right? In
That's
terms
absolutely
of,
correct.
I just won't run into any malignant until I finish the campaign.
That's absolutely right. But you will, as you play, if you make a new character, to your point, Rod, on the seasonal realm, and you're playing through the campaign, you will be earning favor as you're killing monsters and doing things during the campaign. But a lot of those, and
Man,
you
but
can
that's
also
some big
progress your
news,
season
guys.
journey,
Holy
but Some
shit.
of those objectives might require you to go and interact with season features that aren't available.
Looks
to
amazing
actually
so far.
Finish the events of the Diablo 4 main campaign.
And that's probably one of the big things to be
Very
clear about.
positive so far.
I know we're going to talk about the transition later, but in terms of getting access to the mechanic, the idea of talking to core men, capturing malignant hearts, having rings with colored socket or jewelry with colored sockets, that stuff all takes place post-campaign.
That's correct.
And so if you haven't beat the campaign yet, you're not going to run into these
102 days? Did it say that?
Yeah, you won't fight malignant creatures.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
example,
about 3 months. That's what they said.
The campaign.
Like 90
on
to
the
100
season
days. Yeah,
realm,
that's
shortly
fine.
thereafter. So one of the things you can do, and I know we're going to talk about this, and we keep saying we're going to talk about this,
Right.
and then we talk about it anyway. But like, so I would say, like, one of the things you can do to get ready for the season is to make sure you finish your campaign playthrough. Diablo 4, jump in. You can choose to skip campaign when you make your new seasonal character, and dive right into the seasonal.
That's what we're
story
going to do,
and
guys.
content immediately.
And that's forevermore.
the
That's
campaign.
one thing we tried to say is that once you complete the campaign on one character on your account,
one character, one
for every
time.
season moving forward, for any character you create moving forward, you
So
can
we all
skip
did
the
it.
campaign and start off in Kyovashad level 1 off. Well, and
Not always Kyovashad, but yes.
Is that the only
Foreshadowing.
thing that we can be doing to prepare
well,
for
we should
season
get to.
one?
Let's get to the-
we should
Certainly
get
not
to
the only
battle
thing.
pass. So the favor. So you have favor flowing because you're playing the game.
You're playing the game because you're doing your season journey objectives. You're getting even
And
more.
I was going to say you're getting more, and the favor is really flowing because I'm completing the season journey objectives, and so that favor is feeding into your progress on the battle pass, whether you've chosen to just have the free battle pass or whether you've chosen to upgrade it to a premium battle pass. Correct.
That's absolutely correct.
Right.
So can we go back to the screen because I think it's one of the things. What we highlight here is
Oh yeah, season 1,
part of the
102
thing is
days.
kind of
Here
like,
it is.
we use the term. Why would I want to?
The sound is cutting off. Not me.
One of the reasons you would want to complete the battle pass is you could look like this.
So it's like 3
and by
months and 10
completing
days.
the battle pass in terms of the mount armor, the armor that the characters are wearing, and so.
That looks
Did you
cool.
want to talk a little bit about
Yeah,
some of the
I mean,
stuff?
one of the things that's really cool about a lot of the items in the battle pass There are these really exciting like armors to chase. For
Oh,
the
he's
characters.
ready.
There
Carry
are like,
us.
fun new emotes to go chase for different
Cow
classes.
mount.
And we have even things like the like what we're showing off here, like the Artisan's Tunic. We have some things that
They're
are
always showing
this
Bob's,
is
man,
actually
hello?
one of our free cosmetics actually is this. The things are like a little bit lower fantasy that we can use to kind of like role play
Or is that a
different
druid?
kind of themes out for your characters,
What do
just
you
give
know?
you more options. And we have like our bigger stuff like this, like this is like the Awoken Cold Iron stuff is like some of like the like real chase armor
keep showing the
cosmetics
Bob.
that exist at the end of the end of the battle pass.
It's one of the things that, like, if you notice either the role-playing armor, like the artisan tunic, or the
Tier
the
90.
helmet, is that one of the big things about the battle pass.
How many
is that
tiers
unlike
are
the
there? Look at
shop,
this.
The battle pass
To level
all the
90,
cosmetics
the
are
battle pass.
class agnostic.
That's some
So
grinding,
we have a preview
guys.
for all 5 classes, so you can see what it looks
Holy
like on
shit.
a barbarian, what it looks like on a druid, what it looks like on a necromancer, and those sorts of things. And that's
100
one of the
tiers?
nice things about the battle pass is everything you're earning on the battle pass,
Yeah.
class agnostic.
Yeah, for those transmogs.
The exception is the transmog weapons. There are transmog weapons on there that are class specific, just because classes
Classes
only
can
equip
only use
certain
specific,
weapons.
yeah.
So if your class can equip
Makes
that
sense.
weapon, then you have access to it.
Obviously.
Just to reinforce, I think it was already expressed.
you have
but
to grind,
there
guys.
are lots of free
It's a grind
things
game.
on the
There
battle
we go.
pass.
I like it.
If you pay to upgrade it to the premium battle pass, what you're gaining access to are a bunch of additional cosmetic things.
Okay, so paid battle
the only
pass,
thing you're getting
cosmetic
access to
only.
by paying is that additional cosmetic unlock. So there's really, really cool stuff, some on the early end, and then especially on
how
the
does it
tail
work
end of
with the boost?
That's what you're buying into. But the free version,
Keep going. I'm getting ready to transition.
okay, the free version
I know where I
of
want to
it
go after you.
still has some very cool unlocks. And anything related to, well, you wanted to talk more about blessings, right?
Well, that's what they're saying with the free side. Like, so we were saying there's 27 free
Yeah.
tiers in the
Yeah.
battle pass, and part of those 27 free tiers are smoldering ashes that you can get based on the level
Yes.
you are in the game that
Smoldering
you progress
ashes.
with favor. And what do those smoldering ashes get you?
So these smoldering ashes the player will collect at the battle pass are, as you called out, like they're on the free track of the battle pass. You need to be you have a character of a certain level in order to be able to actually use them. So they're kind of like they're rate limited that way. We'll take those and you'll be able to use those and apply them to the seasonal blessings system.
Right.
And here, okay, we can actually finally reveal all of these. So here are the places where, as the player is collecting these ashes, they can invest them here to give
XP
all
boost.
of their characters on the seasonal realm kind of like this advantage able to carry through. So whether that is like bonus to like XP earned from monster kills, like we call out here, or things like boosting the duration of all elixirs that you're using over the course of the season.
Right, and you can looks like. I'm assuming that I don't know if it's linear or not, but if I would assume it was linear,
This is
I can
gold
do it 4
find.
times at 15%, so like 60% duration on elixirs. In terms of
So
that
3%.
particular earner prolonging.
Yeah,
That's right.
4 levels.
Yeah.
That's probably
We wanna make
12%
this
XP
an
boost.
extra
That's
little
big.
fun little thing for players to chase as they're going through the season to kind of
Can you
help
change
them
these?
like boost their characters up a little bit more quickly as they kind of get deeper and deeper into progression to the season, and give them a few different advantages to play with while they're playing through.
So if I were to max out with my smoldering ashes, they're like earner prolonging is where I want to invest my smoldering ashes. I can basically take my 30-minute elixir and make it almost a 50-minute elixir. So getting that 5% XP boost. Maybe for me, it's the extra 200 thorns and the 200 armor. Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, and give you boosts to like get more opportunities to earn like the or better malignant heart drops that can occur for you as you're playing.
And
it's
these are
gonna be the
available
XP,
to
guys.
everyone
We
because
got
this is
Yeah.
in the seasonal realm because it's part of the free track.
XP all the way.
And they are limited based on. They're also limited based on level of the player, so that even if someone were to use tier skips, even though they might get to the tier that says free
You unlock
smoldering
the ash,
ashes,
it might require-
it doesn't actually unlock until you get to the level requirement.
Yeah, for like for example, like the first ash that you unlock in the battle pass is I think it's tier 8 maybe.
Tier 8,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it has a level 40 character requirement as an example, just to make it really really clear. Like
So you can
will be able
pay
to
to
use this
unlock
in
them, but
time,
you still need the
immediately,
level.
You need to continue to progress your character and like, continue to level up, and then you'll be able to use that accordingly.
Some might call that
Okay,
pay to
so-
win anyway.
I can do my little summary thing. So basically, the way
It's so
what we
complicated,
said.
man.
So we have a seasonal theme of the malignant, which has the mechanic of capturing malignant hearts and putting it into jewelry. We use that to complete our season's journey. Our season journey is rewarding us favor. Our favor, we're then putting into
you
the
still
battle
gotta
pass the
earn the
really cool
levels.
cosmetics and transmogs, but also based on our level and
That's what he
our
said,
tier
no?
in the battle pass, we'll
Maybe I
get smoldering
misunderstood.
ashes. We can use those smoldering ashes to apply a season
I don't-
blessing, which
I also
allows
don't
us
think
to
it's
use those
necessarily
earns
pay to
and
win.
get sort of perks for during just this
like
season
cosmetic
that we've
stuff.
unlocked.
That's correct.
So the free person's experience, if you never want to pay a cent, you are still getting a lot of power out of the season journey and the free aspect, the free unlocks on the battle pass. So this is kind of an increase in power for everybody. And then if you want to spend money, just reinforcing that, that's unlocking more cosmetics.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like they're amazing cosmetics. I am planning to pay to unlock them myself. But there's no power that comes from them. They are transmogs. They are not actual items. It's just a transmog you can place on your armor to look cool. They don't actually cause things to light on fire.
Yeah, it's just reinforcing what we had talked about before, like even before launch and so forth, is that the battle pass
Good
itself,
job. That's a big W.
Anything that if you do pay for a battle pass, all the paid items are going to be cosmetics and for you. It's no pay for power.
And if you bought the deluxe or the ultimate edition, you already will have an ability to make that a premium battle pass. It still doesn't. So
okay, that's
cool
cool.
for them. So then let's talk a little bit about the transition.
I think some people will still complain, but it is what it is.
How I go into this or what happens. So there's a couple of different things. There's like one is like there's a need. So there's a question. I guess we should talk about Renown.
There'll be an
one of the big
article.
things that we hear the most.
Okay, the
about
Renown guys. This is a big topic.
Hey, I spent a lot of time, and I know I did too. I completed all my Renown objectives. I've got full everything. And now I hear, I have to re-roll my character in season. Do I have to go find all the altars of Lilith? Do I have to go all clear the fog of war again?
Yeah,
Let's hear it.
so I know we've talked about this in stream before, but definitely bears repeating. So like when season 1 goes live, players are going to be able to go basically carry over like all of the fog of war that they've cleared. So everything, all the worlds they've explored on their characters in each of the zones, like in the Fractured Peaks and Scotsland and such, all of that's going to carry over, as well as all of the renown you have earned from all of that, all of the exploration.
So can we bring up the screen? So basically where we see areas discovered.
Yeah.
Let's say I've actually, we'll say this is this person.
Yeah.
So right now they've got 30 areas discovered, which is worth 150 renown.
This person is right.
So what's going to happen is in the season, I'm going to have 30 areas clear inside of Kyrgyzstan, and I will have 150 renown already in the bank. And it will have unlocked whatever 150 renown.
You also have
12
absolutely right. Yep, absolutely right. So you're going to have that, and you're also going to have already collected all of your altars of Lilith
Makes sense.
from your
So
account.
the same thing here. So I will have 12 will be appearing on my map immediately, and I will have 120
Rod
renown
is representing
in the
the
bank
viewer.
with my other 100. So I'll have 270 renown already earned, waiting for me to claim.
That's a big W.
That's absolutely correct. So these are the advantages you get to start with, and like if you look at like all of the renown you can collect from discovering all of the areas and from getting all of your altars of Lilith, it's going to get you in each of the zones. Basically,
So you
through the first 2 tiers, a little with the way
you're going to be on tier 3,
for each of the zones for renown. So you get to start with like if you start at level 1 on day 1 of the new season with a brand new character,
you're going to have
you'll start and you've done all of this
five skill points.
with your previous characters and previous playthroughs. You'll have 5 skill points to play with, and then 5 extra potion charges. So you'll be at sitting at 9 potion charges.
And you'll be like halfway
You'll
through
have
this tier
5
to
skill
get
points and
another
9
10 skill
potions
points.
ready to go.
Absolutely.
Another
Just
5
claim
skill
those
points
things
for
down,
10
you're good to go for the season.
And your map reveal.
And your map
And your
reveal.
map reveal.
So that goes back to what Tim was
don't
teeing
have to
up
wait
earlier.
points.
When we think about, hey, I'm excited about the season. I want to prepare for it. I've got, what is it? This is the 6th today?
Today's the 6th.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have 14 days.
14
I have
days.
2 weeks. What should I be doing in these next 2 weeks? And so one was I better get the campaign done because I really want to
complete the campaign.
fight the malignant. But now,
Get it.
like, if you had places to go to, like, dig deep on clearing the fog and dig deep on finding the altars, because those are going to carry into the season.
Yeah, all
Good
of that's gonna
preparation.
carry over with you.
Okay, so then, Tim, how do I think about, I've got 5, 6 alts, my
gonna be
characters
good.
right now in the Eternal Realm. We're talking about carrying over progress based on how do I ensure that the progress, like the most progress character, it actually impacts my seasonal character? Like,
Yeah, Tim, tell us.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Tell us.
For various technical implementation reasons, we do actually need you to log in on existing characters to kind of self-migrate some of your data with this. So this is something that we implemented based on player feedback that we got. So we put it in as quickly as we could. It is in for Season 1, but what we need you to do, once Season 1 comes out, actually once the patch comes out, you don't even have to wait until July 20th. You can do this on July 18th, which is
play
when
on
the
the
patch
18th.
goes live.
We're going to do that anyway.
You should log in with characters that have the most progress. If you have a single character you've played, or if you have one character that, hey, on this one character I unlocked all the altars,
Oh, that's really
and cleared all
important,
the fog
actually.
of war.
You must log
awesome.
in.
You just have to log in with that person. When you log in with that character, all of that progress is going to be propagated across your entire account. It'll be saved
they're
as,
just
hey, this is just
implementing that.
unlocked for your whole account now. At that point, any
Makes
character
sense.
you log on, either one of your existing alts or any new character you make in seasons will now have all of that progress. So you have to do it once, but after you've done that, it is now saved to your account, and just to reinforce, the experience you're going to have if you have unlocked all of these things, it takes a little bit of work, but if you've unlocked all of that, when you start that new seasonal character, wow, is that a lot of power. You are going to level pretty fast.
Yeah, it's going to be a fast
points,
race.
Extra 5 potions. You are ridiculously overpowered when you first start playing. Like, that is a
20,
lot of
24 hours.
You a little bit as you start.
And because that is a big caveat, like we will be reminding everyone. I'm going to be like literally screaming it from the rooftops. I know we will be posting it in our patch notes on that come out for the patch on the 18th, just to remind people that yes, log into your characters beforehand. Even
it's
if
not going to have
the
the progression.
you jump into the season later on, you can log into those characters with the most amount of progress.
Well, that's
and so forth.
that's the two things we should, because there'll probably be questions. But one is, I don't do that for whatever. I go on vacation. I'm not playing. I come back. The season started. I can still log in my Eternal Realm character and have all that progress brought to the season. Yes. Even after the season started. So it's not like, oh, you only have 18 to 20 to get it those 2 days.
It's there forever. Functionally, from this point forward, anytime you ever log in on a character, it will just check like, hey, does this character have any progress that's not already credited on your account? Cool, I'm now crediting it to your account.
Right. And so and that's for the seasonal. So if I think about the Eternal Realm, like for example, my Necromancer has everything. I've got the full bar on Renown on all 5. Not humble bragging. That's a point of fact.
Humble bragging.
Not humble bragging.
Absolutely.
So for the next 5 minutes, we're going to talk about
So
this.
let's talk about how good my Necromancer is. No, but all I'm saying is I have a Sork that has not had the same level of progress in the world. So after the 18th, when I log in my Necro,
there's a lot of stuff, guys.
all that progress gets put to my account. When I go to log in,
He's a Necro enjoyer.
Even on the Eternal
No
Realm,
Necro
my
nerfs.
Sork will now have all the progress that my Necro.
There's no Necro nerfs, guys. Rod's
Let's
playing
say, like,
Necro.
you know,
It is what it is.
really deep
Bone
into
Spear
this.
is fine.
Let's say that you've got,
I know
you've got 2 different characters.
We should do some sort of
You've
dev
got-
stream where we can talk and go deep.
That's true, actually, yeah. So let's say you've got like 2 characters you play. Like one has
Bob
done
will get
everything in the
nerfed
Fracture
instead.
Peaks, has uncovered everything in the Fracture Peaks, and has uncovered like all the altars. Blah, 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 blah. You get another character who's gotten everything in Scott's Glen, who's unlocked like all the field, the Fog of War, has found all the altars Lilith.
You
If I
play
log in
Thorns.
on my
Oof.
Fracture
Okay,
Peaks
Bone Spear
character,
nerf.
and just by doing that, all of that credit will now be transferred to my Scott's Glen character. When I log into my Scott's Glen
Teleport to
character, all of that
Necro
credit will be applied to my Fracture Peace
Yep.
characters. At that point, all of the credit of the progress I made on either of those characters has been propagated to the entirety of my account.
Right. So it becomes an and.
It's not just like it's not like the one account that has the most stuff and then I want to log into that one. No, you want to log into every account that might have like tons of progress if they've made in different directions. Right.
And I think to just again, hey, let's talk about managing expectations. Some of you might be saying like, wow, that sounds a little clunky. And I think the point that Tim was trying to make was,
but it's just necessary for that tech.
Prior to season 1, we had actually talked about that you wouldn't have any Renown progress carryover. You would have to go find the.
They had to fix it.
You would have to go clear the Fog of War. Like the original.
They listened to the community, guys.
When launching the game, or prior
didn't
to launching
plan
the game,
this.
the original plan that there was no transition of state from Eternal Realm to Seasonal
They listen to the
Realm
community,
as
guys.
part
They
of
listen
this.
to all
And
of
so
us. It's
hearing
amazing.
the player feedback
Big
as we
W.
talked about seasons and hearing the response that we got about what I have to find all the altars again, what I have to clear the map again, and wanting to make sure that
you have to
we were
log in
listening
once
to the
before the
players.
season starts, guys.
We put in a
Ripped.
system that allowed us to do that, but is not the most smoothest, most sophisticated because we were doing it under very tight time constraints as quickly as possible.
Hey, did you want it done? Did you want it done?
They got it done,
The
guys.
answer is
I'm
yes,
just
you want it
saying.
done.
I'm just saying. Like that wasn't the design from the start. Was not to do this.
Right.
Log in a character on the 18th and make it pass.
Yeah.
That's what we had to do to make it happen.
They got it
for
done,
season
man.
1.
And this was based off of, obviously player feedback that we've gotten since launch. So this is us
It is what it
implementing
is.
it quickly
And that's
to
good.
address, the feedback that you guys have been giving.
Yep.
And then on top of that,
It's a
like,
decent
huge
trade-off for
shout out
sure.
to our
It's-
engineers
it's a big
for
W.
getting this all implemented before we
Much
actually
like-
jump into the season.
Much like the Nightmare Dungeon
Yeah, thanks to that,
teleport.
man. That's
like,
amazing.
Miracles can happen and very quickly.
Miracles
So-
can
A lot of
happen.
these actually
Dreams
end up
do
with a
come
joint
true.
engineer and asking
Stash
how long
space,
it takes
hello?
to do it. And the first answer is to do it right.
First answer
That's
is they
very big
cry.
number.
Yeah.
And then there's like, okay, well, what about to make it work right now? And always, if you told me you wanted
Dreams
to do
do
this
come true.
X months ago, I could have done it way easier because we implemented it completely differently. So yeah, we made
It's
it
very
work,
relatable,
but sometimes
so, yeah, it's good.
The fact that you have to log in to get the progress propagated, we would have made it a smoother version if we knew months ago.
All right,
but-
look, all right. Like, zoom in on me. Zoom in on me.
Come closer.
Let's do that. Okay, it's not going to happen. There it is. Okay, yeah, all right. It's a live game. We know we need to it's a live game. We know we are looking at trying to make improvements based on the feedback that we're getting from players. We're playing the game ourselves, and we're seeing how everything is really feeling as it's all coming together with a giant
guys are
audience of
blasting.
players playing and enjoying the game. we want to make sure that we are making the right changes as quickly as we can for the community. Some of those things are a lot harder than others. But like all the feedback, like Adam, you called out some things really early on at the program, like, we're hearing feedback about, this and this, and like, inventory space. We talked about gems last time and things we want to do there. We're trying to move very quickly in a lot of these things. Some of them are a lot more challenging technically to do than others, but we are rapidly moving on as many changes as we can because we are fervently trying to make the very best version of Diablo 4 possible.
That's all we can ask for, guys.
In the fastest time frame that we can to deliver to the player base, because we're players too. We also want the same things. So just know that we're working hard. We care deeply. We love our engineers and our designers and our producers, and the staff's been helping with like all of, like the hotfix and everything else. We are trying to make sure that we are delivering a really, really high.
He's passionate, man. You can feel, you can tell.
Basis. So just stick with us. Keep giving us that feedback. We're going to keep making adjustments as we go between seasons and other updates.
I can attest that whenever
you
Joe
feel it,
would like to make a change based on feedback he's seen from reading it wherever he reads it, the first version is always, can we do this immediately? That is always the first request. Never like, hey, let's get this in eventually. When it makes sense and when it's comfortable, no, it's always, could we do this right now? Is it possible for us to do this right now?
Well,
so
that's the first version.
That's what I did with Edgemaster and Berserk ripping.
The thing about about doing it safely, I think one of the sort of the junior mistake some people can make is this idea of like time is only what it takes to implement, and it's not. It's time is also what it takes to test.
It's a big W, man,
and make sure that it's
relatable. You can feel the passion, and I believe them.
That's one of the things that when you look at we have a follow the sun QA organization around the world, and that's what allows us to do, I don't know, we're up to 15, 16 hot fixes or more now.
Yeah.
And our big client patches is that ability to not only can we get we have some heroic engineers who can turn stuff around very quickly, but we also have some heroic QA teams around the world.
Giga chat engineers.
Make sure that when we make these changes, we're doing it in a safe way. So, but I appreciate your patience on that. And so this is exciting. Season 1, Season of the Malignant.
Yes. It's finally here.
Let's go.
I'm waiting to reveal this for a long
2 weeks.
time.
Good stuff, guys.
Again,
patch
Tim
today, patch in 10
Soon.
days,
Very
season in 2 weeks.
As Tim had mentioned, we will have a patch on the 18th for Diablo 4 that will contain all the changes that will be coming in with Season 1.
Yep.
If Tiffany Watt were here, who was on our campfire chat before, she categorized our 103 patch as chonky.
Right.
I will categorize, in Tiffany Watt's words, as super chonky for Season 1. It actually is.
There's
our
a big
largest,
patch coming, guys.
Or chonkster, as Tim called it.
13 pages.
Chonkers. So we're going to pull up the Wikipedia entry and actually go through it, the history of chonkers. But it is very big. So we will have notes up
buffing Druid.
And again, players can prepare for Season 1 by completing the campaign for sure.
Doing the campaign,
and making sure, clear Fog of War,
get all the
discover
altars.
the map, and of course, get all your altars. So lots to come for
there's a lot to prepare, a lot more.
And then again, we also
strategize, plan out your path.
Just more improvements that will be in that patch. What class our balance changes to bug fixes to
I thought he
you
said
name it.
Barbarian. He
I
said
can go
bug
on.
fixes.
There's even some reward changes coming for some Nightmare and Helltide related activities as well. Some end game activities, because I've been hearing some feedback regarding hey, it would be great if we can get maybe better rewards with some of these activities, and so I know some of those changes are coming in that actual update as well. But
right,
I
guys.
know we want to do Q&A.
We do.
And this is a live stream, by the way. Yeah. So I know we get sometimes people are like, I don't know if this is live. No, this is totally live. So we're actually going to be bringing in, we're actually going to kick off Rod, because we're done with him. No, I'm just kidding. Rod is actually just
I'm actually going to go and annoy you from the side.
I know. It's the worst. Rod's going to jump over here. We're actually going to bring back in Chris and Ryan from the Immortal team, who will be jumping in here.
I think you're supposed to open that chair. I didn't do my job. I didn't do my job.
Rod had one job and failed to do it.
I failed to open the chair.
So we're going to bring these guys in.
No, it's live for sure.
Questions queued up
from
different people in Twitch chat. So if you guys have questions, of course, feel free to drop in questions.
Chris
and everything.
is not quite in. You need to switch.
Oh, I need to scooch too
Scooch a
because
little
I think
bit over.
I'm
Yeah, I think
like,
we can scooch a little bit more.
Live
okay.
television.
We're scooching live.
And we're scooching, live scooching, ladies
So
and
here's the
gentlemen.
problem. We also the production team hates me. I want to give a shout out to our production group behind here because I literally go
let's
like,
go,
oh,
guys.
we're only going to have
Great
2
stream.
people, and then we continue to add people. And
GG.
then Rod wanted to be in it yesterday, so now suddenly we're up to like 20 people, and this room can't hold this many people. So I apologize. They are angels, and they deal with me. But we do have some questions, and I will be kind of going back and forth in between both of them. But
What's
we
your
do-
top question you would
perfect.
ask?
We do have some questions up here. Someone's also calling me, which is awful at this time. Quick question. Any updates around, this is for D4 specifically, any updates around respeccing characters?
Respecking?
Yeah, so
far.
right now there are, I think that there's a few different
Yeah,
concerns.
I think they
in terms
kind of
the
gave the
there's
answer to
there's
stash
general
space.
cost of
Just takes
respecting
time.
characters, and then there is at
don't
various
know
stages
why,
of the game. And then
is
there
what it
is the actual experience of respecting a character, particularly when you're deeper into the Paragon system. Like that takes a lot of effort. So we have longer-term plans on the user experience side, like on the menu side. Things we want to do to improve the flow of allowing players to respect their characters. These are things we're actively investigating. We have designs for things we're looking to add into seasons in the future, but we don't have a date that we're committing to today for that. And in terms of the actual price of that, we're evaluating things on like the gold economy, and we're taking a look at like what players are doing on a regular basis. We're
What's
not
the
making
next
any
nerf of the
fundamental
variants?
structural changes today at this time,
okay,
but we are, because we're satisfied with where things feel like in the 1 to 50. One thing we will be adding though is as part of the
think it's
seasons,
fine.
there's now a new reward that you can collect as you're going through the season journey at the end of each season, called the Scroll of Amnesia. Which, once you collect a Scroll of Amnesia, you can use that one time to basically reset the entirety of a character all in one go for no gold cost at all.
Okay,
so
that's
these would be
cool.
like pretty
New
fun
scroll.
things to bring back with you to the Eternal Realm if you want to use for future playthroughs or for that character or another character. So we're
Scroll
gonna
of
make sure
stash
we're,
space.
like,
It just
slowly,
deletes everything you have in your
as
stash.
players progress
It's
through the
fine. Then you have a lot of
Gotta make
space.
that a little bit easier for players to go through.
And that Scroll of Amnesia is everything. It's all your skills,
It's all
all
your
your
skills, all your
Paragon.
Paragons,
Everything
yeah.
goes to 0.
Yeah.
Awesome. For Immortal,
New
we
scroll.
have a question from, I'm reading everyone's names, 8 Miles West. How much will the Blood Knight cost? I know we covered this early on, but if you guys want
It's
to
going to
reiterate.
be free,
The
right?
Blood Knight will cost nothing. The Blood Knight is free.
It's free. So if
There we
you're a
go.
new Immortal player, or you're a existing Immortal player, you can literally jump in, start playing
Blood Knight
Blood
is,
Knight
definitely cool.
on day 1, which is on July 13th. So, and of course, you can play through the campaign, and we had mentioned that it has essentially custom VO and everything associated with it.
That's right.
For D4, I should be more prepared with these.
That's usually
That's
a
usually-
safe statement all the time. Is you should be more
we have
prepared.
Rod judging me off screen right here, and I'm just like, awesome.
Perfect.
Little side story real quick. So we have a thing in design called design armor, where like as you're about to like talk about an idea with someone, you're like, this might be a really bad
he has, like, the
idea,
perfect
but, and that's
position.
you
Look
putting
at
up
this.
your shield saying, this is my design armor. Saying, I know that this might be
Like
really,
a-
really bad, but we're talking about it anyway. So yes, I should probably be more prepared.
Narius
but
right there.
Here we go. That's your design armor.
But only on its head.
Question from Fig Larna.
You
Terrible.
committed to saying the names.
Fig, I know I did.
We don't want anyone to suggest that these are not real questions.
Yeah, from Fig Larna. Will seasonal mechanics
Fig
be
Larna.
added to the Eternal Realm after the season ends?
Good name.
I think that's something we didn't actually clarify fairly well.
That is a great question that actually gets asked internally as well a lot. Like, hey, this is awesome. Are we going to keep it around forever? Initially, no. Like, initially, the version of the melee mechanics that you're seeing are not planned to show up in the Eternal Realm. However, we are reserving the right as developers that if we see something
Maybe they
cool
make it
and we
core.
think, wow, this is just fantastic, this should just be part of the game,
Yeah.
that we will just make
Perfect
it part
answer.
of the game. So it is absolutely an option. Some
Good take.
mechanics you might see in future seasons
W.
might be that way right away. We might be planning that, hey, this will show up in Eternal Realm.
So
right
if it's
away.
good, it's gonna
Others
become
will evaluate
core.
them as we play
We'll see
them
the
and then
thing.
see if this is working really well. This is something that we want to integrate with the
That's
Eternal
awesome.
version of the game.
Yeah, I want to stay on this just 1 second longer. That's not to suggest that we're not going to be, as part of seasons, intentionally using those
Yeah,
update
PoE does
opportunities
this
to create
too.
content
And,
for
I mean,
the base game.
you don't have to
Like
reinvent
something
the
that
wheel.
persists
Like, this is what
beyond,
people like,
the
and
end
100%
of the
agree.
season. But we really do want to hone in on the idea that we're like, Malignant Hearts are very powerful, as we talked about before. They're really, really cool. They're very exciting. We can't add something exciting like that every season if it's expected to all last, because the game's going to be a complete mess.
Right.
So we're not going to do that. What we would end up needing
only
to do
some
is
themes
all of those
will
things
be
would be
core.
extremely incremental in terms of what they offered to the players over the course of time. and it would make the
at his
game
positioning.
extraordinarily dense in terms of what the players expected to do on a regular basis.
And to understand.
We know that there's opportunities to extend things like add more endgame features. We know that there's
Scenarios.
more content that we want to add to the game in general that like everybody's going to need forever, and we're going to be looking at those opportunities as we go. But things like Malignant Hearts, we don't want to have something of that size in Season 1, then add something of similar size in Season 2, and then Season 3 and Season 4, because the game's going to get very extremely dense and difficult for players to really navigate. We want to be able to like, take these things away, introduce new ideas, but having known what worked really, really well with Malignant Hearts and what stuff we could maybe have improved upon, we get to take all those ideas forward.
It's also part of the cool factor of the season is that when you're going in, these Malignant Hearts, it's there for the season. So even, let's take a player that, let's say, doesn't like to play alts except of the same class. I just love playing Barbarian. And, you know, I have 3 different Barbarians already on the channel because
well,
it's
if you're
the
a big
perfect
rogue
class.
player and all you play is rogues and all you do is build rogues.
There might be a lot of those too.
Only plays 3 Barbarians.
Let's say a Barbarian, that's my hypothetical. I'm
That's
sticking
so
with it.
mad.
So I'm a Barbarian lover and I've made all these Barbarians. Season 1 is still an exciting time to
Season 1 is going to be pork for
because
Barbarians.
we have all of these new Malignant powers that allow you to make radically new
designers
builds that are
Barbarian
completely
enjoyer.
different from Barbarians you played in
Bellow
the
spin
past.
to
Your
win.
end game is going to be very different. So that excitement goes away if we just say like, oh, all of these powers just exist in the game forever. The whole idea is that no, every season is a fresh new experience that gives you builds that did not exist previously. So the idea is some of that stuff is always designed to go away.
Yeah.
So, Joe, I mean, one of the things...
This is Rod off camera speaking.
Rod off camera.
Thanks.
Yeah, voice
Right.
Joe,
Yes.
maybe speak to the fact that everybody starts at the same place of the season as one of the benefits so that people aren't like a year behind when they go to play Season 4.
Yeah, that's an important part of this as well. One of the reasons we really like the idea of letting players start back fresh and have like an economy reset, players really jumping back into
Economy reset, so there's nobody with 8 billion
it
gold.
allows us to focus on making sure the entirety of that journey
Must
is
farm it
really
again.
engaging and exciting for players to go through. And we want to make sure, like by the end of the first session, for example, like you're getting exposed to like the new features and content available that we're introducing in that season. That everything feels like it's balanced in such a way that players can really enjoy the new things that we're adding in the way that they're kind of intelligently mixed with the rest of the features in the game itself. So that we think of that experience is part of what makes a Diablo game anyways, like making a new character, getting those item drops, like building up towards the end.
be very balanced.
With regards to like the way that we decided to conduct our efforts in seasons for Diablo 4, we think this is a really, really like the prime example of the way that we can make this work.
But I wanted you to hit on the point, the fact that if somebody buys the game...
Yeah. They're not like fundamentally behind.
Yeah,
Dude, Ron's amazing.
I'm going to mess with the camera people. Can you?
Yeah.
You can't even do it, can you? You can't even get there. All we can do is I can just have my talking stuff. Oh, hey, what's going on? The notion of the thing that we're talking about is that we want, again, the game is a live service. The game's going to live for years. We want somebody who buys the game a year from now to not feel like they're a year behind when it comes to. So one of the benefits of seasons is. In Season 4,
skull is so cool.
on day 1, you and I are both level 1. I bought it that day. You have owned the game for a year. We're in the same place. We can play together and have fun together. And so as opposed to everybody from this moment on is now falling behind, Seasons allows us to have that fresh start for everybody, right?
Yeah, that's actually, I could have put it better myself. That serves as a really, really good opportunity for us to make sure that players have a starting point together when you want to come in a little bit later into the game experience. If you've taken a season or 2 off because something else came out, we want to make sure that it feels like, the most important thing for us in seasons, like kind of going off script in a different way now, is that like when you're playing seasons and you're playing Diablo 4, you're having a great time. And when you've reached all the goals and done the things that you think are really, really important, and you want to go like take a break to go play something else for a little while, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. We do the same thing.
You don't fall behind.
But when a
play some
season
PoE,
rolls, there's new things for you to come check out. That's
play some
a great
Last
time to
Epoch.
come back. Particularly if you had a good time playing before. That's exactly when you should come back and check out Diablo 4 fresh.
Okay, I'm out. Sorry.
I'll be honest. When the next
then
WoW
we blast
expansion
E4,
comes out,
man.
there's a non-zero chance.
Diablo
that I'm gonna
2,
play WoW for a while.
resurrected.
But it's great to know there's a point that I can come back to Diablo 4 and everybody's on an even footing. Yeah.
Question here from Jeffrey Allen, and didn't specify the D4 or DI, so I'm actually going to ask both because I think this is relevant to both. Also,
Why do you have a new mic?
I actually don't know. But yeah, 2 mics, guys. I'm very
I'm too like Adam. I'm too like Adam.
you have me in stereo.
Adam.
Can you say which cosmetics will be transferring between characters? So for instance, like for Diablo Immortal, we'll ask this specifically for Diablo Immortal, and then we'll talk about Diablo 4. But in regards to transferring cosmetics, like if you ended up buying a cosmetic in Diablo Immortal, does that actually also appear on the Blood Knight?
So cosmetics purchased prior to the Blood Knight's release will not be retroactive. However, the sorry, what was the Mother's Lament set?
Hatred's Heritage.
Hatred's Heritage.
This guy
will
knows
be
everything, man.
Available for the Blood Knight.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So going forward,
This is
there
the
will be
Giga
now
chat.
new cosmetics available for the Blood Knight, just as they are for all the other classes in
Yes.
Immortal. And then I guess for D4, will cosmetics be transferring
I can
to
do a recap,
seasons,
yeah.
and will they need to be reobtained? I know this was like a question that we get a lot from people in regards to transmogs, and if you salvage specific stuff, how does that work between characters from Eternal and Seasonal Realms?
Yeah, I believe this is all transferring over with you when you go into the new season. And obviously, every cosmetic set that you're via the store and via the Battle Pass, that stuff also is going to be carrying over with you.
Yes, if you ever unlock anything, your whole account has access to it forever, is the current functionality.
Nice.
I shouldn't say it that way. It sounds like we're going to change it.
Yeah,
That
don't
is
use
the
the word forever,
functionality.
ever.
All right, that's pretty amazing.
Let's see. Nightmare. This is from Kincho Kimo. This is Nightmare Teleport was great, but why can't we just teleport right into dungeons rather
good
than
question.
just to the entrance? So this
Double
one I
loading
think is
screen.
interesting because Nightmare. We obviously incorporated the teleport here.
There's
in
2 loading
103.
screens currently.
It was another thing that we had talked about where it was community feedback that we had gotten, and the team jumped on it really quickly to implement it in a specific way. We have been
Camo
seeing a
is
lot of
here,
feedback
yeah.
in regards to
You
players
nailed it.
having to teleport outside of dungeons and kind of go through like a couple load screens. It was a quick, I know, implementation from the team and everything.
could definitely
so
be
I know
improved
it's
upon,
something
I
that we've
agree.
been hearing from our side, and it's something
are they
that we're
gonna
gonna
do
be
it?
looking at more
Let's
here
hear.
in the future for optimizing and making sure that we can implement and maybe in a better way from some of the features that we've been just kind of adding in really quickly. On Immortal, we have. Was there some sort of
So
Castlevania inspiration?
Yes, he said they are looking into it, yes.
Looking very, very similar to some popular characters from that franchise.
Anything useful? Here's some messages.
Very pretty
Hey, thanks, Joey.
vampire-ish people, but not vampires.
I think we discovered Adam's kink, by the way.
But it's zombies, though.
We can turn off Rod's mic now, so that's all we need to do. But yeah, was there any inspiration kind of thrown with the Blood Knight?
I think, when you're working with a tropic idea in fantasy, like vampires, you take inspiration from all over. The spear thing puts us in mind of Vlad the Impaler. The aesthetic, you've already talked about some potential references, but I think for us is as much like what we take out as what we leave in. We don't want the Blood Knight to feel like a grab bag of all vampiricness. They are very specifically
bag.
grotesque, blood, shadow, knightly weapons oriented. And so there were things like turning into mist, like turning into wolves, etc., that we immediately said, hey, these need to be off the table. And so in that regard, I think there's a lot of familiar that
Wanna
we're
watch that
channeling,
trailer
but
again.
there's also like a very
After the recap.
dialed-in identity for the class.
Awesome.
Everybody knows that it's necromancers that turn into mist.
A lot missed. Hell yeah.
Let's see. In regards to Diablo 4, we have. Will you guys be nerfing or buffing in the middle of seasons, or will you be making changes after the season
the Bob?
starts?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So, when
Oh,
we
this
think-
is from Godic, by the way. So there you go.
Okay,
I just
so
wanted
this is
to.
a real person. Yes, this is a good question.
What a
So
chatbot.
we made a number of adjustments during the preseason period to make sure that we're bringing some builds back into where we expect them to be.
Will win, Bob.
Performance-wise, when we go into the seasonal release, we do want to create
New builds
structured moments
stupidly
in time. We're gonna be
powerful,
talking about,
but will
I think,
nerf
more,
barbs to
in future
balance.
streams, when we expect like buffs and nerfs
Yep.
to happen. So we have like a regular set of like patches that are going to be occurring after the season is released, where we have like a better schedule like in case.
there will be patches during the season.
things.
That's
We
good, though.
really want to try to reserve like big nerfs and big buffs for only like extreme outlier cases, and really things were like really damaging the end game experience for
Gores,
players.
devastating
So we want to try to keep that
grasps.
more constrained, and we also want to have
Giga
just
nuke.
fewer general like
On
off
day
cycle balance updates and things. So we're kind of keeping things more into this weekly cadence. Like we
I
talked
literally
about.
played and they got
things will be
nerfed
pretty
as I
stable
played
throughout
in the
course
middle of the
season,
run.
Unless, if one of the malignant powers, I know I joked about them being broken, but if the zone lights on fire when you use a malignant power,
Yeah.
we're going to patch that. But otherwise, we're going to try and keep things stable.
Yeah, keep it fair.
I
It's
know
good for the race.
we're running close on time because we were planning on the stream to be 90 minutes and we were 1 minute away. So I'm gonna lightning off a few questions.
Sure.
a big question within chat is obviously about stash space, which is something that we kind of just talked about
stash space, yes.
a little bit earlier.
I'll say real quickly though,
Yeah.
like we definitely hear everybody about this. We are talking a lot about what we need to do with this. We've got good plans of things we can do to improve the situation. I know it's frustrating to hear me say like, what you were able to do this,
Soon
like, you could do,
TM.
like nightmare dungeons this quickly, but like the reality is like we are moving really, really quickly on this, and we're gonna be trying to provide more space in the future,
Yes.
figuring out how
Thank
I'll get that accomplished.
Yeah, and also one
Thank
thing
you,
to notice,
Inarius.
I know we talked about during Campfire Chats about how gems and so
In season
forth
2.
were going to be part of the materials in the future.
The
So
gem tab is coming.
I know
Need
when
a
that
key tab.
hits, like that will obviously free up a lot of stash
Yeah,
space
there's lots
for
of different ways
users
to kind of
and
like
stuff like that.
slice away at this problem, and that's like an example of what we're
I
trying
mean,
to do.
gems are like a small problem in terms of stash
And
space.
then
it's more inventory problem.
Jim, the Q guy, asked how much time between seasons. He still wants to level up his main. So in between
3 months.
seasons, obviously, we had talked about seasons lasting 3 months.
It's a minimum of 12 weeks. Sometimes
Yes.
it might be a little longer, but you'll always
Correct.
have at least 12 weeks to complete your season.
Correct. Yeah. So you guys will
That's
hear.
just the
I think that's a good time frame.
Yeah. So you guys will
Like
hear
about
like,
4
no matter
year.
what, within or like once we hit that 3 month period, you'll start to hear news about the next season actually hitting. And
That's
everything
Pog,
like
man.
that. And then this one, I guess for Rod, are there any plans on new classes coming to Diablo 4?
Blood Knight?
We just
Yeah,
heard about the Blood Knight, so they're now.
We have nothing to announce at this time.
Oh, wow, that was very
See,
strange.
yeah, Rod sitting off camera.
gonna be
can-
October.
Can answer that perfectly. So,
Start of November
So
for
yeah,
season 2.
I think we're gonna wrap it here for today. Obviously, we talked.